OKFM 101.7.
Na Ora Mustafa Gbandi, Deputy General Secretary, Edima NDC Amanyukuno na yene no entwetwe enkomo Ange Mustafa mwache. Ange Mustafa.
Kwame.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kwame.
Na bako die.
Kwame de radio asio.
Yo. Say uko ye de enkomo bebre na aba. Baba ko me ne wo che en se na no His Lordship Justice Atubiga. Wokoye public lecture. Na o deliver letter bi na nsema hodo de waka bi. Na me obaye wan yakwan tie nsema hodo a waka ye efa 1 ye rajachi kwesi say ruling bi on jachi kwesi na sem no was so scandalous. No eye ba ko na niam ahodo bebre a wakeka wadawma ugine sen
Welcome medawas na wache phone tu nyina Kwame ansa na sa lecture na baba on na pese mira ho ai yaka amranim ene judiciary na lecture na mira ho pa pese na me hwe animu se agukudro ni bi ebe kasa asem because Kwame law school yakobi ene yesu ya homa ni bi eniama na estisi wo ye court estisi wo judiciary no na ya na mbisa me say na ehoma ni bi wo ho a yenye hu ya na say de enimu ana omode eduma
but some so ni mu say niam bebre wo wa is grounded in law yen kan sa.
Yes, all the issues of court are grounded in law. And the law is the law. The law is unique. Na bayan say na nseduido ni sisiwo court ni ye amranim semuno. It is not known within the laws. So now, we are very discouraged about even becoming a lawyer. Now, me say atuguba semno. Na I am cranshe. At least, Atuguba was a senior member of the bar, the Supreme Court Justice of the respected courts of Ghana. Wakasa ama ina yakuma to yim se enye obia na ehwe nifa na ebi mu ofa o mu hwe benkum enti eye enkwanhye na wo mu de amaga na fo se ekina bi no ebeyeye na ni esisi ensamwa esisi na Kwame na no
Ba obiso rezi asem ba en kofu bi rezi argument say na nsan yi a NDC lawyers so e call retreat no former president Mahama so kan say wo mo so enye say wo mo beba mainstream of judicial administration no mu nti amafo say oh na wo ba mo na kese adwin be na nipa kro no ode eba mu na say wo de judiciary ni be politics ana
me sure say first of all, maintenance are
okay.
Me say enkranhye because enkofo na woni omu hia no nyina ye lawyer for. And there's a difference between say or private practice and who aspire to be a judge. The difference is that private practice no na de onya usika ya wa usika we wadwuma una control time. But public practice to be a judge, service to the nation. Normally, no benefits are lawyers, mostly as private lawyers, including their time near their there. It's more than being serving the nation. But if the pride say wabe judge, who serve the nation. And the judges, most lawyers do not want to become judges. Come in. And he said, Omampeni, lawyers and clients that most of them should begin to learn and aspire to become judges. It is not a political driven commenter Omampeni that Mimi who say and client should be an answer motivation being the young lawyers said they should not all stay within the private practice. They be moved called private sector, commercial laws. But some of them should put it in their mind. They say they need to come and serve the nation as judges. That is as someone that is not to equalize that to actions at SEC or court. Now say you say you call registration. Say you na your auntie and say NDC any major almost all minority political parties say you won't call IPAC ne Jemenza Kokasai. Jemenza went otherwise. And yes, so and court in Shishim now interpreting Yemani be said Beya and Tiasia Beba. Say Chief Justice or two also the NPP General Secretary media minim. Why said any abaying penny for SSRCS ama mami etikamu just no two kwaha no kwaha. Ye dimusa de ekusiano afi obama yen data. Was it say ejuma no etwemu a ansa na court bebu asa asem no kwame eno no uyesa emma it leads to miscarriage of justice. Justice is not when you win a case. Justice is when the judicial process gives you fair hearing within time. When the judicial process is fair to you to the extent fair a bit you wasem. The nature of our court is such that the courts will listen to you and they will give a ruling. Because for the avoidance of conflict, it stops at the court. And it's the court, now court, say, 2 years time, waba. Would you feel justice have been done to you? That is what is happening within our courts. And until a Ghana phobia, if he said, because of a Nema and Sembia Paul Adumochrekan and Sepi said, so Shankofua, only the Chief Justice Nina, for the bear point to woman. Now you're competent. Then you won't. Onunim se Akufo-Addo dibe manu na ye her lord ladyship justice token onun eye obi a okobua Akufo-Addo 2012 court no a won come call Supreme Court election petition no which is a distinguishing who not on the grounds of intellectual merit but on the grounds of loyalty to the president.
Now Paul Adumochiri the comments in Oka. So do you take it, sir? A position of the government or the party or whatever?
Paul Adumochiri is an appointee of the government of Akufo-Addo. Paul Adumochiri's program is one of the top-notch programs of the NPP. And to Paul Adumochiri, why didn't the president sue Paul Adumochiri for trying to lead his name to jeopardize the courts? And also, Ebemu, Paul Adumochiri is a quasi spokesperson for the government. Oye Galamse Intinanse, the Niabre Episca.
Mr. Pacho, Onye Galamsi, what are
you?
Me Pacho, Mr. Yeah, Udia, withdraw, me Pacho, Mr. Pacho, you withdraw. Why? The medium will publish it through my medium. I mean, you want dancing. Me Pacho, Mr. mpacho
Okay.
why yin free
And yen go so di ma
yanko anim
ebetimi akọ anim
yanko anim
Paul Adumochiri kan sa nsem we wie no no nansa na nanado appoint ma me no say o may chief justice. What do you expect the public to feel about her appointment? I don't know say ye chikwesi asem we ko ba mu papa no renounce no citizenship. All the issues, the primary issues, fundamental issues, the court did not avert its minds to it. Then the court will say, oh, sir, if you disagree with the ruling of the Supreme Court, you can go for review. Mm-hmm. It is not for the review to build public confidence.
But okay, mame ba kuna I think Jomoro. The case went in your favor as a party. Say the same issue here.
The law does not stand to equalize public perception. The law we are talking about.
Now we can say ABS say judiciary no I treated towards he say no and now make say but I say the same judiciary no na ambusa mam
government we need case back na NDC so we need case back one na say the court is doing its work. The current Supreme Court, led by Justice Tokuno, is leading an agenda not to give Ghanaian justice in most of her things that she does, particularly in Judge Kwezin's case. Number 2, in the recent limited registration, she demonstrated low bad faith. She's demonstrated lack of commitment to uphold public confidence in the judiciary. You all know the Ghanaians do not trust our judiciary today, and that is what she
based on what research another or survey?
Based on the rulings, unsatisfactory rulings.
Say yes, you quite and quite maudia. I'm found now as a quantity name of father down the house. And go for the quano muyi.
Davida, Nasi, just that to go NDC. He is a former, Supreme Court judge. Justice Tukuba is one of what to say Justice Doche. Okasa Ewamremua. It carries weight. He disagrees with the rulings and the activities.
Now, Obibebu say, Brebe and Justice Tukuba. Who is Sadi?
Emra oye forum a omu invite no say Ghana for say one person omutie his experience and Niema what he feels as a former Supreme Court judge about our current justice system. Justice is very important than even governance. So what the criminal unfee say you cannot get justice because the sitting president will do everything possible in his means to influence. Me
draw attention to it. Say we cannot say you can't say or influence it. Can the president influence judge of the apex court? No.
The relationship an outstanding loyalty with the president, not
Ekwabeso.
Me say, Paul Adumochiri na be ye program one.
Oh, based on the Paul Adumochiri, Ekaye.
Odo no kai Ghana for say, her ladyship Justice Tokuno was one of the outstanding lawyers who supported Akufo-Addo in his presidential petition. Because of that loyalty, Nanadu and the Achim Mafia around him will appoint somebody who is loyal to the president.
okayfm.
And we believe that when the president is making an appointment, public appointment, and discharge of his, power vested in him, that president should be guided by the implications of Article 296.
Okay.
So, decisions now will take you should put decisions of good faith ahead of your own personal desires.
Mami Musa question when I am fan komono NC. Nipa bi wɔn so yɛ political players ɛne pundits no I suggest to say sanka ɛsi nya one constitutional review. Na constitutional review no nneɛma bi wɔ hɔ a ɛnka yɛn delineate from say president in the by appointee. They talk of the IGP, they talk of the CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, they talk of the Chief Justice, and then the rest. Say now, Ujenu.
It's a very good suggestion. A lot of Ghanaians generally feel that there should be a constitutional review. But constitution, in that same constitution, we've seen good and bad presidents. We have seen presidents, instead of appointing Kwame Nkrumah to Kessie as a Chief Justice, he said David Namba be outra. Because of the
perception out there is that Judge Atuguba no endis for Musumunipa.
Well, that continues to be perception, but he spoke about point of law. He indicated the deficiencies in the ruling. Into Kwame, in the midst of a weak constitution, and any review now, power I don't know human beings, but I'm saying that if the president at all material points in time, unlike President Akufo-Addo, will exercise his presidential power in the interest of Ghanaians and protect Ghana, we will not be talking about constitutional review. When we are talking about the fact that Oman Penyin had an option to appoint a finance minister. In the midst of all NPP for now, he chose his cousin, his nephew, Ken Ofori-Atta, above every other Ghanaian. That is bad faith. Is it constitutional crisis? Oman Penyin Astabio, wa appointia, amma onuanere, the chochomucho appointment against other people. No, when you do that, you create an impression that you are tribalistic. You create an impression of nepotistic governance. That one is not deficiency in the constitution. It is the deficiency of the person. Emrano. And now I'm saying, see a Tihana Kandapako Cafe. Said the judiciary no. One more court to be now. Other people will lose near there, then it raises insecurity situation. So, as if say, the judiciary is a football match. So, can we regulate issues at the judiciary? This is the national security minister talking. And I'm saying, or some can say, within the same constitution as CSOs, civil society organizations, any incentive for by virtue of Article 162 coming down. Sir, within that context, you will exercise your freedom of speech. Said you nyama enkoyiye muka ho asam in John Mahama's administration, Manase Azuri did an expose of a Ford Explorer. We didn't say that Manase Azuri is a coup monger. Under John Dramani Mahama, Yetraham and some trouble as to panel. We didn't say they are coup mongers. And some trouble the fact is that Nanadu has appointed his family and friends into government. The fact that the very famous document of Ajapadie Akufo-Addo na people extra say one di Ghana fonya no as against the Ashanti people. Eba bontia ye ka ho asem no, they are coup mongers. Kandapa is not seen say e come the Ghana for Kandapa who say sika eni Ghana. Kandapa who say Akufo-Addo
but Minister for National Security enti na or can based on the portfolio.
There's no principle. She didn't talk from security. Security, but what security does it talk from? A minister who does not speak.
You're running up now.
a minister who does not see, sir, when appointees of government have been alleged to be destroying the forest, it's not insecurity. A minister who does not see embezzlement of COVID funds is not insecurity. A minister who does not see that a government, agriculture, planting for food and job, sika for dam, he doesn't see that as insecurity. What concept is he using?
Okay.
The dominant concept of development today, governance, to fight insecurity, is human-centered security. The time you use to models to the
Matthias.
To assess a security implication, you must look at the strength of government services. Are they manning crop war? Have they gotten jobs? Is there food security? At poverty, are we reducing it? Health, how are we looking at health? Kwame, OSHA indicated here, you will give Akufo-Addo negative. He is not telling the president that he is a source of insecurity in the country. The Ghana Police Service today has approved say Yankoye demonstration in a private individual's office. Kandapa is not seen, sir. It is a recipe for bloodshed.
Demonstration
when you invade somebody's privacy, he has a right of self-defense. The fact that you have approved for a certain demonstration retroactively in a private individual's home, Kwame, in itself is a source of insecurity because there will be a potential of a clash.
Hey, Sana Baba.
Now Kwame, said you, men, meeting the fee. Oman Penny John Dramani Mahama, a former president. Wababedi Nimra became. Granted, sir, he has done something wrong against the state. We have a very competent claim president who has an attorney general who we believe the public thinks, sir, he has influence on the judiciary. Let him put the president before court if the president's immunity has expired. Let him prosecute the former president. But for the Ghana Police Service to approve, sir, Munkoya demonstration, our former president, private office, that is not an officer the nation gave him. The private office, Munkoya demonstration is a recipe for bloodshed. That is the greatest insecurity. Because you are dealing with somebody who is potentially a president, a leader of one of the biggest political parties.
Demonstration. Would there be a retroactive resistance?
But their demonstration itself is retroactive in a sense that it's lopsided. It's led by somebody who is ignorant. It's led by somebody whose thinking is very weak. Because if you think well, you will say, Obia or former president, you are demonstrating against him for the inefficiencies of government. Government has a special prosecutor. Government has an attorney general. Government has a police service. Government has an Yoko. Why are they not taking on the former president? They want to go and kill President Mahama. And we, in the NDC, will protect President Mahama every inch, every minute until he becomes a president. A demonstration in his house is the greatest threat to his life. When it is led by hoodlums and invisible forces like Owusu Bempa said, you people believe that baby, then he acts on emotions. We will not give that opportunity. It is not something that the NDC take lightly. That is insecurity. Kandapa should have seen is what breeds insecurity, but not an attack on journalists, not an attack on people who are exposing the weaknesses of government. Kwame, President Akufo-Addo's regime is leading a campaign of censorship against media freedom and freedom of speech in this country. People should talk about it. Kwame, maybe Asofua Sabio, Wamu Shisha Kukum, now Maya Wama Jin say, Womu Bwa Bawumia Manabedi president. No, they are working against God.
And no, it's not for you to determine. Spiritually.
I mean, if you are a pastor and you don't see a person, he has led poverty to your people, a person who has led disease to your people by not giving your people health services, a person who has led the destruction of education, a person who has led the collapse of our economy. If you don't see the person as a problem, then you are sleeping.
Mustafa Medasi.
Kwame, you mean shira wana pawi?
Medasi pa. Akwa banso.
Kwame yokrum.
Mate. Bye. Ora Mustafa Gbandi, Deputy General Secretary, Edima NDC Amanyukuno. Yene na twetwe enkomo.
OKFM 101.7.